Hey guys, so today we're going to be talking about the new Netflix horror movie, Choose or Die. I've also seen it be called Cursor, which I think with like a little, what is that called? The greater than symbol? I don't know what the official name is for that, but I think that's a better title personally. Choose or Die is so cheesy, which maybe that's a little bit more fitting, but Cursor just sounds like a cool early 2000s tech horror movie. I've seen a lot of people compared this movie specifically to The Ring among many other movies. I think this obviously took a lot of inspiration from a lot of early 2000s movies, but I've seen people say it's basically The Ring with a video game. So I know a lot of you have been anticipating my thoughts on this because a lot of you have said that you thought it was going to be right up my alley. But before we get into today's video, I just want to thank Truebill for sponsoring today's video. Truebill is an all-in-one personal finance app where it groups all of your accounts together to keep track of your earnings and your spending, and you can create personalized budgets on there. I've talked about Truebill before in the past. I've been using it consistently for months and months now, and I really love how easy it is to use and easy to track all of my subscriptions. There's just so many amazing features when it comes to Truebill that's really beneficial in keeping track of all of your finances. I know exactly when all of my subscriptions are going to be coming out. I know exactly when to anticipate when brands are going to be paying me. I also really love the feature of getting my weekly spending reports sent to me through my email so I can see a breakdown of how much I spent this week versus what I spent last week and where I'm spending my money the most and where I could possibly save more money. Speaking of saving money, Truebill also has a feature that they will negotiate your bills for you, whether it be your phone bill, your internet bill, something like that. They will go to the company and negotiate your bills lower. Like I mentioned with the subscriptions, I always know when they're coming out because I am subscribed to literally everything, so it's really nice to know exactly when they're going to hit my account. But if you do have subscriptions that you don't take advantage of enough, you can cancel them right on Truebill's app, so you don't even have to go through a separate like 5 different apps or anything. You can just select which ones you don't want to have anymore. You can download Truebill for free if you go to truebill.com/possessed, or you can click the link in my description. Choose or Die follows Kayla, who is a struggling college student who plays an obscure 1980s video game hoping to win the unclaimed $100,000 prize. This game unleashes the hidden curse that forces her to make terrifying and deadly decisions, and she is no longer playing for the cash, she is playing for her life. So this is by the director Toby Meekins, and this is actually his first full-length feature film, so his directorial debut. Now, when I saw this announced, it actually inspired a whole video on my account. I just did top 10 tech horror movies, and I kind of did that in honor of this one coming out in the same month. So when I saw this, I was really, really excited for it because it is something that looks right up my alley. You guys know how much I love tech horror. This seemed to be inspired a little bit by those early 2000s movies, even though it is a video game from the 1980s. Like I mentioned in the beginning, people are comparing this to The Ring, and I would say it is very The Ring meets Stay Alive, which is another early 2000s movie that I absolutely love, however cheesy it may be. And I really thought it was going to be like a love letter to that era of horror, and in a way it kind of was. Also, Robert Englund was signed onto this project. Obviously, he makes an appearance in this movie, so I think that also got a lot of people very excited for it, that Freddy Krueger was going to make an appearance. So all of that excitement really was its downfall, because I'm going to tell you, this wasn't good. Or in my opinion, I didn't like it. It wasn't objectively bad, but I did not enjoy this movie. And I think that's going to surprise a lot of you because a lot of you expected me to really love this movie given the concept and the techness of it, especially after I just did my video. Do I even need to do spoilers? I don't even think this needs spoilers because nothing really that notable happens towards the end to where I have to spoil everything. So no spoilers in this. I've seen people comment, ooh, no spoiler review. That means it's really good. Not always. Sometimes it's just boring and there's nothing to talk about. But let me say, there is some silly stuff that goes on in the second half of this movie towards the end. Just ridiculous. I wanted to like this movie so much. Like, I thought I would be really into it. It took me 2 sittings to get into this movie, and that might have been my fault. I don't really know if I was like going on my phone or not, but I tried really hard both times to really get into this movie. And the second time I forced myself to watch all of it. I probably would have not finished it had I not, committed myself to reviewing it. And I know a lot of you would want to know my opinion on it. But even on an entertainment level, I didn't even like this movie. It wasn't even so bad that it could be entertaining. There wasn't really anything going on in this that I was excited about or, dying to know what was going to happen next or anything like that. And it just baffles me because the concept choose or die, you want to see the choices that are going to happen. But it almost just felt like it was just going from scene to scene so you could get to the next choice because it knew that the viewers would be most interested in those elements, the horror elements of choosing or dying, right? But even that to me was not exciting enough to be entertaining. I have a battle within myself whether this movie was original enough because a part of me thinks that it borrowed a lot of ideas from past horror movies, especially tech horror movies like The Ring, Stay Alive, Fear.com. And basically I've seen it all before. There really wasn't anything new introduced in this, which I've seen people say that it was pretty original, but I'm just not sure if they've seen these other movies from earlier decades. Because to me, there wasn't really that much original going on, even with the overall story, nothing like that. If anything, it felt like it also borrowed from Black Mirror as well. It almost felt a little bit Bandersnatchy, you know what I mean? And that's not even necessarily a bad thing. I've seen a lot of uninspired horror movies that I absolutely love. They don't always all have to come up with these really original concepts every time. I mean, everything's been done at some point or another. So to some extent, movies are going to borrow from each other as we continue on in the genre. But I just don't think Choose or Die's execution of borrowing these ideas and reinventing them was that great. I do think that the acting was a little lackluster. I liked the lead. I think she was the best in this, but for some reason everything fell off. I don't know if it was because the writing was really bad, that it just wasn't believable. We didn't get enough to really care about a lot of these characters. There was literally a moment, I have to say this moment, where the lead throws her head back and howls, yells out of defeat and sadness. And I'm just it felt like a weird comedic moment in a way. It almost felt like a parody. And I started asking myself, is this movie taking itself seriously, or is it self-aware that it's feeling a lot like a parody, almost like a comedy at times? I mean, it could be a parody of all those cheesy tech horrors from the early 2000s. Honestly, that would have been better. Probably not great still, but I would have taken that as, I don't know, something a little bit more unique than what it had going on. But I think it was trying to take itself seriously, but it just was so goofy at times. And I was taken aback and taken out of the whole movie when these moments would happen that would feel like a parody. At least if it was self-aware in that sense, it would have felt more intentional and it would have been camp, that would have been almost exciting in a way. The special effects, really bad. I'm not gonna lie. Some just went on way too long. The rewind, fast forward bit, if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. That went on way too long. Why are we repeating this over and over again? They didn't look great, and they were really cheesy. They were almost a comedy, these scenes. I don't see the horror in some of these scenes. I was bored. Like I said, it took me a while to finish this movie. I was so bored. I could not get through this the first time. I thought it was just my mood, but then the second time I struggled too, and I'm like, oh my god, this is such a boring movie. I think what it is it had a horrible balance of the drama with the horror elements. And then when we would have the drama elements that is meant for purely character development, there wouldn't really be much said or explained in those moments. There wasn't much going on in these character develop moments. What's weird is there's so many of these scenes, I feel, that they're trying to push this character development, but there wasn't enough really given to care about these characters at all. Maybe it's just me, but I wanted so much more. If you're going to spend a lot of time on the drama element of this movie, make it interesting, make it unique. Give us more information. I want these to feel like real people, and none of them did. Things just weren't explained enough. I left this movie with more confusion than before. So I still don't really have clear answers, and I don't know if I tuned out during the slower parts that were like plot dumps or something. I don't think I did. I'm pretty sure I watched all of it. So I don't know if I'm missing something. Maybe I missed some, like, I don't know, explanation somewhere. I don't know what's the point. Like, I don't know what the point of this movie was, or like the reason. I know it's probably just for entertainment at the end of the day, but it wasn't even enough of that. Apparently all the actors are British, but for some reason this takes place in America. I don't know why it couldn't have just been a British movie. That would have been fine. I don't know. Just an interesting choice why they forced all of them to get rid of their British accents, even though all of them are indeed British. I don't know why that matters, why they have to be in America. The choices, actions, and motives of all of the characters never made any sense to me. And it was just weird. Like the pacing of everything was weird. Their choices were very strange. Like there wasn't much thought out when it came to the backstory, or like why they're choosing the things that they are. I don't know. And it was kind of just moving from scene to scene instead of the repercussions of their previous choice following them into the rest of the story. I feel like that never applied. They never carried over. It wasn't like there were any consequences to their previous choices. Whether someone died or not, that didn't matter. It was just moving from scene to scene. They would make a choice, it would complete, and then they're on to the next. Like, it didn't feel like pulled together in a way. It just felt disjointed, and the pacing was really off. So it was bouncing from horror to drama and whatnot, but just moving from scene to scene, and nothing felt like really connected in a way. Now, I enjoyed the nostalgia of the technology. That is something that was fun, not worth watching the whole movie for, mind you. It did feel kind of reminiscent of The Ring at times. However, of course, being 1980s technology and a video game. But I agree with others that have said that this would have been a better short, which the director has made other shorts. It almost felt like he took a short idea and tried to make it a feature-length film, and it just wasn't executed very well. Like, this would have made a much better Black Mirror episode. I think this as a Black Mirror episode would have been fantastic. However, it feels a little bit like it's been done before, you know, with Bandersnatch and all of that. It just kind of feels familiar. I'm really disappointed because the potential for this movie was there, and I'm really disappointed that I didn't like it or get much enjoyment out of it, because even if I put aside my critical eye, I still don't think this movie was very well done. I really thought it was going to be my thing, and I ended up thinking it was boring and a little bit uninspired. I would love to hear your thoughts on this movie, Choose or Die, or Cursor. What's a better title? Tell me it's Cursor, because I think Cursor sounds way cooler. It is streaming on Netflix, of course, right now, so you can check it out if you want to know what I'm all talking about. But I would love to hear your thoughts on what you thought about this movie down in the comments. I hope you enjoyed, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.